Chris, what is our first main topic today?
This first one comes from Isaac. Hi, John. According to The Hollywood Reporter, before the scripts for Obi-Wan were rewritten to be less bleak and hopeless, in the words of Kathy Kennedy, Darth Maul was supposed to be a part of the show. Wouldn't this have contradicted what we saw with Maul and Kenobi in Rebels? What do you think of this? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. Yeah, there had been a lot of talk going around that some people wanted to see Darth Maul in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which would have made zero sense. Like none. When you watch Rebels, and I understand not everybody watched Rebels, but it is canon, Maul is on a quest to find out if Obi-Wan is still alive. He had no idea if Obi-Wan was alive. And then he finds out definitively Obi-Wan is alive. And once he finds out Obi-Wan is alive, he makes a beeline for Tatooine, which happens years after the events of this Obi-Wan show. Finds Obi-Wan, they have a 3-second fight, and Darth Maul dies. It would be completely breaking canon to have Darth Maul, to which a lot of people, when I would have this discussion with over the last year or so, would say, well, I don't care. I love Darth Maul, and I want to see him there. And I like Darth Maul too. I love Darth Maul. Who doesn't like Darth Maul? He's probably
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't like Darth Maul.
Qui-Gon Jinn probably.
Probably not very fond
The rest
of
of
him.
the Jedi Order.
But he is probably the single coolest thing to come out of the prequel era of movies is
hell
Darth
yeah.
Maul. And so of course we like him. But you don't just go throwing canon into the wood chipper just to get rid of him. Well, apparently, though, they were looking at putting Darth Maul in this. As a matter of fact, apparently in the first script that was in, it was going to be with Darth Maul. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who write the following. According to a new report from The Hollywood Reporter, so it's not Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart. According to the new report from The Hollywood Reporter, Darth Maul will not appear in Obi-Wan Kenobi. The news comes with additional insight into the show's development, as it is revealed that there were previous plans to include him. Ray Park, who played Maul in the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Solo, A Star Wars Story, reportedly was preparing to return. However, creative changes to the series meant cutting Darth Maul's role. Lucasfilm representatives denied any plans to include Maul in any versions of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the Hollywood Reporter's source states otherwise. In any case, Darth Maul is not expected to appear in the upcoming Star Wars show. And thank frickin' heavens. It would have made zero. Now, let me reiterate. I love Darth Maul. And I got really excited at the end of Solo when he popped up there, right? Because in the time frame, that fits canon. Everything was fine. But the idea of bringing him in here, while it would have been fan service, remember what we said. Fan service is fine if it serves the narrative, if it serves the story and furthers the story. Considering bringing in Darth Maul would have been trashing the narrative and obliterating the canon, it would have just been pure, empty fan service. As much as I would have gone, squee, and everybody else would have done the same thing to see him because it's
What
Darth
would you
Maul.
have done, John?
Squee!
Okay.
Internet, please clip that.
there's your new trending thing. But it would have
That's
been,
already been memed.
It would have been everybody. But it would have been a huge boner to see like Darth Maul on there wrecking shop again, right? But it would have been at the sacrifice of story and at the sacrifice of canon, and it wouldn't have made sense.
Who cares about story, John? We just want to see him. They dropped this news after I wear my Darth Maul shirt yesterday.
Oh, that's right. That was a good Darth
come
Maul
on.
shirt you had
They
on
should
yesterday.
just take a page from Moonfall and not care about the story.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or just any new Star Trek series.
Narrative?
They don't care
What's
about
that?
canon either.
Have the Darth Maul triplets show up. There were never Darth Maul triplets.
Now there are.
Actually,
What's
dude.
better than
now-
Darth Maul?
Hang on
3
a second.
Darth Mauls.
Wait a minute. I'd like to see some Darth Maul triplets. If you
I'm
know what I'm
telling
saying.
you.
Come on now.
3 Darth Mauls. 3 Darth Mauls.
They could be
Why do you have to
dudes.
say it like
They don't
that?
have to be. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I like to see
So-
some Darth Maul triplets, baby.
Now, the whole notion about them going back, like I was always fine that they wanted to go back and rewrite the script. I mean,
Right.
that's fine. I mean, I didn't like it at first. I was like, look, if you knew that was the story you wanted, why are you changing your mind now? But fine. You're uncomfortable with the story where it's at and you want to rewrite it, fine. Hearing this makes me even more comfortable that they rewrote the script because it just wouldn't have made any sense. So apparently that's it. 100% official. There are still people speculating, but there will be no Darth Maul, no Ray Park in this thing. Now, look, let me be clear too. I'm still open. There is a good period of years in the Star Wars story there. Solo kind of highlighted this, where there is room for a Darth Maul story if you want to tell it, but tell it in such a way that it does not contradict canon that you've already established. That's all I ask, but there's still room for it, and I'm interested in it. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this, that apparently, according to the Hollywood Reporter sources, that there were plans in the initial draft of it to have Darth Maul be the villain. What do you think about that, and what do you think about the fact that they removed him?
The Hollywood Reporter article does go into some depth, and it was Filoni Consulting that made sure that this didn't happen. And on one hand, John, I'm like, how did that happen in the first place? Like, how did anybody come up with a script that Darth Maul was even in? Like, how did somebody not consult with these things to begin with? Which I won't get into that, but it makes sense that look, we all want things to have canonical fealty to what's come before and after. And I think if you decide to play in a time frame that has been bracketed between two movie series and two different animated shows with the Clone Wars and Rebels, I think it's important that you adhere to these things, because what they have is this grand narrative sprawled out over multiple formats. Now we're getting live action TV shows. So I like the fact that they put the brakes on this and that cooler heads prevailed, and they're looking at this grand narrative and taking it seriously. I think that's what we want from all of our franchises, isn't it?
Well, and here's the other thing. This move does something that I have been asking Star Wars to do, because I love Star Wars, but my one big criticism of it over the last number of years has been, a lot of years, has been the shrinking of the universe.
Right.
Everything's got to be so, okay, Darth Maul, we've had him for decades. We've had several things with Darth Maul. You know what we've just introduced recently and we're just touching on? The Inquisitors. And this decision to me was not just about, okay, well, Darth Maul breaks canon if we bring him in here, but to me it also represents a decision to, hey, even though we're going back to old Obi-Wan, let's see if we can expand the Star Wars universe a little bit, and let's delve more into the Inquisitors. And I really like that move. Anyway, Chris, you hear this news. What do you think about the fact that he was in there? What do you think about the fact that he's not in there now? What's your perspective here?
Darth Maul is the Puss in Boots of Star Wars. He can't die. We keep trying to kill him.
Boots of Star
but
Wars.
he keeps showing back up. Yeah, y'all, just because it's in a different medium does not mean it's not canon. It's the same thing with Marvel, right? What if is canon? And that was a whole thing on the internet too, with people being like, well, if I don't want to watch an animated show, I shouldn't be punished for it. You're not being punished. You just don't know the full story.
Yeah, but everyone knows animation isn't real.
Oh my gosh, animation is just so lowly. It's amazing and it's wonderful. People need to put some respect on it.
But it's just for kids. Animation is just for kids. Didn't you know that?
We
it's only for kids.
We can only tell stories in certain mediums, right? Oh my gosh, it's why fantasy films can have no merit, on a critical stand.
Especially
right?
animated fantasy
Yeah,
films.
absolutely. Like, people just need to get over putting these things in boxes. A medium doesn't determine the merit of something. So that's my whole issue with that, first off. I'm glad we're getting away from Maul too. This is a really cool character. Y'all are right. But it has been feeling like everyone in Star Wars knows each other in this weird Dickensian kind of way, where everyone is somehow related to or connected to each other.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
I was an AP English. I studied. And I just don't understand why everyone has to know each other. Everyone already has to have some kind of link to each other.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Little orphan Annie doing that business. I think it's really exciting to bring in fresh IP to this. And that's what Star Wars needs, is a little something new in the mix too, because we can't just completely bank on nostalgia. We have to deliver good, interesting storytelling. And I'm hoping that that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, and while the Darth Maul delivers the squee, it doesn't create something fascinating and new or interesting. And delving into the Grand Inquisitor and the other Inquisitors as a part of this, Again, and we got more flavor of the Inquisitors once we got into Jedi Fallen Order, right? And I think to explore that now, I think is really interesting. So I'm kind of glad with the direction they decided to go here. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Would you have liked to have seen Darth Maul in the Obi-Wan series? Are you like me and you're kind of glad he's not? What do you think about the decision to change? What do you think about the fact that they decided to have him in there in the first place? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, ExpressVPN. Now, guys, does it make sense that the same company who controls half the online retail also passively eavesdrops on your private conversations at home? Or what about the idea that a single company controls 90% of the internet searches, runs your email service, and gets to track everything you do on your smartphone? You guys know that big tech is more powerful than most countries are, and they profit by exploiting your personal data. It's time to put a layer of protection between your online activity and these tech juggernauts, and that's why I use ExpressVPN. You see, when you run ExpressVPN on your device, the software hides your IP address, something that big tech companies can use to personally identify you. So ExpressVPN makes your activity harder to trace and sell to advertisers. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of your internet data to keep you safe from hackers and eavesdroppers on your network. So stop handing over your personal data to the big tech monopoly that mines your activity and sells your information. Protect yourself with a VPN that I trust to keep me safe online. Visit expressvpn.com/Campea. That's expressvpn.com/Campea to get 3 extra months free. Go to expressvpn.com/Campea right now to learn more.